Hey everybody, we're back and I'm attempting to make a little tweak to my pouring medium, my recipe. I have been just having the darndest time. So what I had been using has given me some really beautiful results and that beautiful flowy watercolor type of vibe. And let me show you one example. Check this out, look how pretty that is. No cells in here. Well, I mean, some little natural ones, but I mean, isn't that cool? Problem is, it's very thick. It's way thicker than the normal consistency. Why that is an issue is because my cell activator will not glide over it and then penetrate it to give me the lacing that I want. Don't get me wrong, I still get cells, but they just don't quite look right. Now, when I thin my paints with just a tad of water, we're talking a couple drops, just to get them a little bit thinner, then I have another issue, which is where they start bleeding into the pillow and sort of breaking apart a little bit. So, hey, it works on this. I think this is a beautiful little thing. But when you put it on a bigger canvas, it's not so beautiful anymore. And all those little imperfections are really in your face. So, and honestly, I wouldn't be able to replicate that if I could. So my thought is, how do I thin this? I can't use water to thin it because it just does not work when it hits that Sherwin-Williams Color to Go pillow. So what I did yesterday is I went in a whole different direction and I tried all new ingredients. I did Bear Dynasty mixed with Joe Sonia for my pouring medium. And check this out. Doesn't that look cool? Yeah, there are some little white dots because I mixed my paint like 5 minutes before I did this. And it looked really cool, but I did get a little bit of fuzziness in the paint. See right here? And then there's a little area right here. I don't know, am I being nitpicky? Maybe, but I gotta figure it out. But I thought it looked cool enough to do a bigger one. So, isn't that cool? But, and I'm not sure if you can see it, how the camera is angled. I can't pick it up because it's still wet. I just did it today. But I've got two areas where the paint looks like it's breaking apart. Right here, and then right here. Everything else looks pretty glorious, actually. It was a perfect consistency. The cell activator produced really nice, tight cells. But, you know, that little issue is just going to drive me bonkers and I got to figure it out. Now, I'm going to keep this because after this is fully dry, I'm going to do some very light shading with a watered down acrylic just to mask it a little bit. And, well, let's see if it works. So we're back to the drawing board. I am just going to use more pouring medium to paint this time. My pouring medium is 2 parts of this HGTV Infinity Gold. That's by Sherwin-Williams. I got it from Lowe's. And then 1 part of this Varathane Triple Thick Polyurethane. It's a clear gloss. That makes a very thick mixture. So that is my pouring medium. And I mixed it with 3 parts pouring medium to 1 part paint. Previously, I was using 2 parts pouring medium to 1 part paint, and my mix was just too thick. So my process for testing is I'll change one thing. Just change one little variable, and then I do a little test. Sometimes I use a canvas board. Sometimes I use these little 6x6 canvases. So without further ado, let's get this party started. I'm gonna pour out, and this is Sherwin-Williams Color to Go. All right, let's get started with the colors. These will have a lot of bubbles in them because I just mixed them. But here's what that consistency looks like. I don't even know if you can see that very well in the camera, but it's still probably slightly thicker than what it should be, but thinner than what I was using. Now we've got Prussian blue. Got turquoise green. This is semi-transparent. I mixed it with a lot of zinc white. Okay, we've got burnt sienna. I'm gonna go over the top with some more green. I've got a black CA. All right, I'm gonna use a little mini for this. Okay, I don't know. Okay, let's let that marinate for just a minute. And while that's happening, I'm gonna just get these edges a little bit. This color palette is probably getting kind of tired, but if this works out, I'm gonna do another one with these sort of neutral, earthy type of tones with that black CA. I did a white one and it turned out really, really pretty, but I wasn't getting that lacing that you're seeing here. It just looked different. Let's go this way first. Okay, so it takes a really long time to stretch this thing out because you have to get every bit of paint off of that canvas that you possibly can. So I am fast forwarding this part, and I also cut a lot of parts out because it was just insanely long. But if you feel that you want to see the entire stretching process, then let me know. Maybe I will keep it in the next video. Isn't that neat? Sorry, I guess my overhead lights are directly above this. But I think that turned out really cool. I don't see any tearing, and that cell activator worked so much better. With that beautiful purple and blue and red one that I showed you earlier, I noticed the color starting to break down almost immediately when I started stretching. I cannot tell you how excited I am if this actually works. Now, you may be thinking, why were you using so much paint to PM ratio? And I think it's because I was afraid if I didn't, that there wouldn't be enough color. So, maybe shame on me. But, I mean, honestly, I've seen a lot of recipes that call for 1 part paint to 2 part PM. I never know if my problem is really solved until I go put this on a bigger canvas, because there's just a lot more variables at play. Oh, this backside is absolutely gorgeous with those beautiful cells rolling over. Oh my goodness. I'm not a cell person, but darn it if this doesn't look pretty hot. You know what? And I've realized I've done a lot of these little test videos and I've not posted one of them. I need to, but it's like as soon as I do one, I start editing it, and then I get an idea, and then I do something else, and then I've got 1,000 videos, and I mean, maybe I just upload them all at one time, be like, hey, here's my collection of how I figured things out. And, look, maybe it takes me a little bit longer to figure things out than other people, because every time I figure something out, I think, duh, that was stupid. I should have known that. Like stressing myself out, going buying all these other ingredients and trying all this stuff when all I had to do is increase my pouring medium and lessen my paint. But I don't know. Let's see how this dries. And then if it looks good tomorrow, I will do a larger canvas. And if that holds, then this is my new pouring medium. And tomorrow when I do this, it'll be really good because It'll give my paints time for all the bubbles to settle down. Okay, here, let me zoom you in. Oh, isn't that cool? We will be back with the tried results because I am so curious on how this is gonna look. I mean, with the exception of the air bubbles, you're just gonna have to ignore those. I only care right now that my paint stays put, it doesn't bleed, it doesn't break down, and that's it, because then I know my recipe's solid. So we'll see you later, guys. All right, so we're back, and the paints worked out really, really well. Yes, there are air bubbles in here because I poured 5 minutes after I mixed the paints, and a bug landed in it, and I had to pluck them out. That's okay. I'll be throwing this in the trash anyways, but point is, my pouring medium actually works. There's no color degradation. It's not bleeding anywhere. It's not tearing apart, and my cell activator seems to be working a treat. So I think we're ready to do a big one and really put this recipe to the test. So thank you all for bearing with me, and have a great day.